Welcome back to another one of my videos. This is going to be a slightly different one. We are going to take the Tesla across town, through Roundabout, on the highway, in the city, kind of the whole 9 yards. My father actually helped me drop off my Ford F-150 at the Ford dealer. I had to get some maintenance done to it, and now we're just kind of carpooling to head back. So from an angled parking, I started full self-driving to go drop my dad off. So it does back out at angled parking, but right here there is a right turn to exit the parking lot, and FSD didn't see it. So instead of leaving the parking lot right where we were parked, it goes around. And I didn't take over just yet because I wasn't quite sure what Tesla was going to do. And as other Tesla owners know, when you use FSD, sometimes you just kind of let things go to see where the car goes because you're not sure. I thought it'd take another left right here to kind of loop back towards the nearest exit, but no, it goes around the whole building, which, I mean, it's not bad. It's not going to crash. It's not destruction of property. So I was just kind of seeing where the car went. So it just creeps around, and this is all still part of the Ford dealer and their greater parking lot. So here it comes, and it's creeping back out, and straight ahead is the main road. So we are making our way towards the exit. So it finds its way. I don't know how much of that parking lot is on like a Google map or on Tesla maps and things like that. But either way, it found its way to unentrance, unexit. Because it got confused or didn't see it before, it still navigated itself. It still figured it out. So what, it had another 30 seconds out. So now we're onto the main frontage road. The highway is right next to us, but there isn't any immediate entrance to the highway. So I was just kind of modifying my map there. In the top right corner, when you click on your map, you can change the orientation that that map has. You can have it always face north. You can have it rotate with you. As you take turn by turns, the whole map navigates, so it's always facing forward, which is kind of ideal. And then there's also the other mode that just like zooms out and shows your whole path at once. I like it to kind of go turn by turn and rotate with me. Anybody remembers the beginning of GPS when Garmin and all the other companies first came out? They didn't rotate turn by you. So as you're going up to a corner, you're trying to think with the position you're going, if it's a left or a right. I don't know, it was annoying. It was weird. So when they came to turn by turn, that was dramatically nicer. Now here I was looking at my GPS, because if you go right here, it goes into kind of a lot of road construction and it gets either hard or impossible to turn. So I was happy it made a left, but I can see that in this roundabout, it's going to make that hook right turn right into construction. So I am prepared to take over because I don't think it's going to reroute. It is yielding for traffic. It sees the cars coming through the roundabout. But here, I took it off of GPS. You can see it, or off of FSD. You can hear it ask me why. And I'm doing it because it was navigating to traffic. So I'm going to press the right thumb button. I'm telling it what it did. It already gave me the green check mark. Now I put it back into FSD mode. So when you turn it off of FSD mode, however method, whether you push the ball or take the steering wheel or tap the brake, when you get it back where you want it, to go back into FSD mode, you have to press that right ball button. Now, I never really had a hard time with this, but I'm kind of a bull in a china shop, whereas my wife, who's half my size, one of the things we learned is kind of the forcefulness in which you need to press that ball. It can't be a light touch. It needs to be a forceful touch. So you don't have to break it, but it's not dainty. So my wife used to have difficulties initiating FSD while we were already moving with the ball, because she was just kind of lightly tapping it. And she learned from Milla Gorilla Me over here that you really got to kind of push that ball in firmly, and that firm press is really what activates FSD again. So when you get used to that firm touch, now she can do it every time without problem. It just kind of took practice to figure out what kind of finesse you needed to get there. But you can see we got quite the bit of a straight shot here. The Model Y is moving about good pace. I'm happy with the speed we're going. There's not a lot of traffic. It is only a 2-lane road, so I don't have to worry about traffic to my left or my right. But it's moving appropriately, staying in the lines. I have a left turn coming up here. This is going to navigate us closer to that highway that I talked about, but there's a stoplight before we get there. So Tesla's creeping up, decelerating, sees the red light. One of my favorite features is that screen showing you what the car sees. So you can see the red lights, yellow lights, green lights. Light turns green, car rolls through it perfectly, and it's heading towards the highway. One of the things I like to point out a lot in my FSD videos are my sunglasses. There have been discussions in the comments about how sunglasses can increase nagging or create problems, but from my own personal testing, sunglasses have been great. You can see so far we are already 5 minutes into this FSD, and I've had zero nagging, and my father and I are talking to their hands and looking out the side window, front window, other side window, and I've had zero nagging issues. So those sunglasses, at least from my use, my experience, have been incredibly helpful, incredibly successful. But here we are going up over the overpass, and we're about to make a left turn onto the highway. You can kind of see that looking at the map on the Tesla HMI, the Tesla display screen. But it yields, it's watching for traffic, it's following behind this white SUV in front of us, and it accelerates at a nice clip. So everything here is going like it should. So the car is accelerating onto the highway at an appropriate speed, so I'm happy in the comfortness and the speed that we're traveling at. Coming up here as I merge onto this highway, we're going to end up taking a right, and I see my blinker, my blind spot video comes on like we're going to merge left on the highway. I have my left hand ready, I hit the blinker to cancel it, and it does recognize my cancel. I could have let it go and to see what happened. It might have merged onto the left lane, then gone right back into the right lane to get off the highway. There is a chance it might have missed my exit, which would have been weird and annoying, but I don't think that would have happened. I think it would have just been wasteful movement, so I just had my hands ready to cancel that blinker, that turn, just in case the car was going to do it. So not really a problem, but something I kept my eye out for, hence why it's supervised full self-driving. This is kind of a more complicated intersection. I shouldn't say intersection, but it goes from one highway to another highway to another highway. So we have multiple intersections here, and the Tesla has handled all of those different intersections really well. So that's something to be really impressed with. The other thing, I know people like to compare different cars, and there is no real competitor to Tesla when it comes to full self-driving. You have other companies like Waymo that do have self-driving cars, but they're really not sold to the public. They're really taxis, and even those are limited to limited highway run, limited locations, limited to like 65 miles an hour. Whereas here in the Tesla, if you wanted to, you could be going down the highway with FSD at 80 miles an hour, hypothetically, and you have no issue. So for me, it works great. So it has jumped from highway to highway, the transitions, the merges, the clover leafs, the on-ramps and off-ramps, and I've been extremely happy with it. So we're moving along at highway speeds here. One of the things you might notice here is I'm raising my hands like I'm going to do something, and I wanted to touch the blinker because I wanted to go around this Prius. So the Prius was moving way too slow for highway speeds. It was too slow for my liking, and I wanted to intervene. Now, you don't have to turn off FSD to intervene. Just like you can nudge it with the accelerator pedal to kind of get it to move a little faster or to move at a stop sign or a stoplight, you can use the blinker on the highways to tell it when to pass people. Now, if you do nothing, depending on the mode you're in, chill, standard, hurry, it will, in standard and hurry mode, it will pass people if they're going too slow on the highway. But in standard mode, like hurry mode will definitely be passing people. Hurry mode is hurrying. Standard mode will pass people, but sometimes it's a little slow to pass people. So I will use my blinker to say, hey, go around this guy. And that way I can kind of keep my pace going a bit quicker. And that's what I was getting ready to do there. But as I was lifting my hands to blink to pass him, the car did it by itself. So it worked out perfectly. Here we're merging off. We're getting off to the exit to exit the highway, and it did great. It signaled to get off, and it moved its way off, and now it's signaling to go under the highway to kind of go back into town. And everything is looking good. The light is green, so it's rolling to a stop. I'm still checking oncoming traffic to make sure no one's going to blow the stop sign and take me out, or stoplight, I should say. And paying attention, changing lanes again, moving to the right. So even though I'm along for the ride, I do look over my shoulders and check my blind spots when we're changing lanes, and I don't really use the rearview mirror a ton. I do look back, but the side mirrors and my looking out the windows is something I do heavily while the car is driving. So we're going to take a right. Straight ahead of us was construction, and with the route I'm taking, we could have gone straight ahead. But taking this right and eventually jogging left here will just kind of save us. We'll get to go quicker because we're not going to be driving through construction. And I didn't indicate that. I didn't tell Tesla what to do. The car all by itself kind of avoided the construction zone, which it doesn't always do, but it's nice when it does. Rolling up here to this red light. This is an abnormal light to kind of bump into, but inevitably you do, and Tesla saw it and came to a slow stop. Right now we're kind of creeping up to the edge of town. We're going to be heading more into like an industrial park before we snake back into town from a different direction. Traffic light went green, cars taking off. Again, there's the beauty of FSD is there's zero intervention that you have to do unless something catastrophic happens, but I've never really had that, so it's been a blessing. I've heard different stories about people's use of FSD, and I don't know if it's where I live or my luck or my car or what, but I've been very blessed with FSD. It has worked out for me really well. The only time I really need to take over FSD is if I just don't, it's a personal preference. Like I don't like the way it's going, the direction it's going. So I'll take over, I'll drive for a few feet or a block or two to kind of reroute it the direction I want it to. And when navigation updates, I press that right scroll bar and it takes over. But I don't have to do that a lot. But when I take over, that's typically the reason, is it's just me rerouting it. If I did nothing, it would still find its way. It would go to a place I don't want it to go, and it'll turn around or reroute or whatever, and it'll still get me where I need to go. The only other issue would be like turn-only lanes. I brought that up. Tesla doesn't always see turn-only lanes, and sometimes it wants to go straight through a turn-only lane, and that's something you definitely need to watch out for, definitely need to pay attention to. But we turned off that road. Right now we're kind of cruising through an industrial park, because on the other side of this industrial park is going to pop out to be residential again. So this was kind of navigation's way of avoiding that construction, which I rather enjoyed. I appreciated that. If I was driving myself, this is actually the exact same route I would have taken, knowing where the construction is in my town. So good job, Tessie. As we're coming up here, we kind of have two banks before we get to a stop sign. So there's a slight bank to the left, followed by a slight bank to the right. There's never a lot of, residential or automotive traffic. It's usually just semis in this area since we are in an industrial park. But I don't drive through here too often. Because of the road construction, it is more popular of a path to take, but I don't do it a lot. But we will be coming up to a stop sign here, and I will be making a left turn. Now, there is a park being constructed just a little bit to my left. So lately, this whole summer actually, there have been a lot of dump trucks and excavators running back and forth across this road, which has led this to being sometimes a precarious left turn. But I happened to luck out on this trip, and I come up to the stop sign and there's no traffic. So fortunately, Tessie just kind of gets to take off. I double check both ways, making sure nobody's coming, doing my supervised duties. And that that is the fun fact about this. It's supervised. You're a supervisor now. Instead of being a production supervisor, a line supervisor, you're a driving supervisor, making sure Tesla's doing what it should, making sure Elon's doing his job. To the left here is that construction I was talking about. You could see some soccer fields in the distance, and a lot of semis, a lot of dump trucks, I should say, not semis, have been hauling giant mounds of dirt out of there because they're bringing down the grade, because it was built up pretty high and there was a big plateau back there. But we're coming up, residential neighborhoods back on the right, so we'll be making our right turn. Tesla slows down, eases through the turn quite comfortably, and boom, we're back into residential neighborhoods, and we got to avoid all the construction. Tesla did a fantastic job, and it's cruising. I keep saying Elon, but it's kind of a funny, I don't want to say inside joke, because obviously Elon, Tesla, whatever. But my wife and I, you can name your Tesla. When you buy a Tesla, you can nickname it or name it, and it actually comes up on the car on your phone app. And we named ours Elon. We talked about naming it Tessie, but that's a pretty popular nickname for people's Teslas, and I still call it Tessie once in a while. But the official name of our car is Elon. So when I'm saying Elon did great, Elon did amazing, it sounds like I'm promoting Elon Musk. And I am at the same token. It's just kind of humorous because I'm actually talking about my car. My car, Elon, did great. But FSD's been amazing, especially. This is still version 13. 14's coming out to certain people already. I can't wait to see version 14. But here we are at the stop sign. Tesla slows down, comes to a complete stop. I'm checking both ways. Nobody's coming. Cruises through the turn. Now, a lot of times I take over in parking because in version 13 here, its ability to park changes. So I didn't even give it the chance. I grabbed the steering wheel, I'm in control right now, and I will turn into the driveway. Now, sometimes I let it to see what it does, but oftentimes it just parks in the street, and that's not what I want it to do. I want to pull in the driveway.
Hi Tesla family. If you found that video interesting, please like and subscribe to this video. If you have any Tesla questions, please feel free to drop comments, and I'll try to either answer your question in the comment or I'll make a specific video answering your Tesla question. Thank you.